Hi there, it's Nicole for Simon Says Stamp, and today I have a card showcasing the November 2016 Simon Says Stamp card kit. And it is a gorgeous, gorgeous card kit this month. Great fall themed kind of papers, I would say. There's a beautiful stamp set with all thanks types of greetings that don't necessarily have to be for Thanksgiving, which I love. Just makes it really easy to use. The pattern papers are double-sided from Echo Park. They're from the I Love Family collection, and that's what I'm using here. I am die cutting this stitched leaf wreath from Simon Says Stamp. This is from, I believe, the 2015 fall release at Simon Says Stamp, but I am going to die cut this from 4 different colors of pattern paper, and I'm purposely choosing the more subtle patterns, kind of more of a tone on tone. I think that's going to make it a little bit easier. These are pretty small images, and so a large pattern kind of gets lost, and I'm going to die cut that and create little stacks of leaves here on my work table because I'm going to be inking these up a little bit to add even more depth and dimension to the leaves. I thought it would be pretty to create a fall wreath with the greeting stamped inside. One of the pattern papers in the kit is this wood grain, and I kind of thought it even kind of resembled maybe a wall, a door, something like that. So I thought the leaves would be so pretty in a wreath shape with the greeting stamped inside. I purposely chose the thanks greeting since it's one of the smaller script greetings with one of the smaller phrases to put underneath it because it would fit inside the wreath. But I can see using the greetings from this stamp set on so many types of cards. They're just wonderful. On the red leaves, I'm using Fired Brick Distress ink. On the yellow, I'm using Wild Honey. And I'm only inking part of it, kind of get a two-tone look. The orange is going to be inked with Rusty Hinge and the green with Forest Moss. So I'm going to do this for all of the leaves. I'm only going to show you a few of them. I am simply inking them up, adding just a tiny bit of color to them. It's really going to add more depth and dimension to my wreath when I get that. You definitely don't have to do that. If you want to just die cut them and go ahead and put it together, that's great too. I chose the fall themed colors, like I said, so I've got some red, yellow, orange, and just a little bit of green. The green was a last minute decision. I did the red, yellow, and orange, and I thought, I think I need a little green in there, and I'm so glad I did because I think that really rounds out the wreath really well. Now, I thought it might be kind of hard to create that wreath shape, so what I ended up doing was die cutting a wreath from dark chocolate cardstock, just a scrap I had on hand, with the Simon Says Stamp Chisholm Wreath die. And it is a great wreath shape, and it's going to make it so much easier to put together my wreath. I can kind of tuck my pieces all the way around this. Most of it is covered up, but I just couldn't eyeball it well enough to create my own wreath without it. And I think it does add a little something to it. There's little bits of it sticking out, so I think that it does kind of lend itself to that wreath design. Before I get any further, I am taking that wood grain background that I was talking about, that 6x6 paper included in the kit, and grabbing 2 of my greetings. I've trimmed it down now to about 4 by 5.5 inches. It's going to leave a little border on the 2 long sides. I'm going to pick up my greetings with an acrylic block and stamp that with Versamark ink right in the center of my Chisholm wreath. Then I'm going to remove my wreath, sprinkle on some Simon Says Stamp white embossing powder, and heat that with my heat tool. That bright white against the wood grain really pops. I love the look of that. I heated both the front and the back of my paper to kind of help so it didn't warp so bad. I'm going to add just a couple of mini glue dots to the back of this wreath. They're obviously not going to completely fit on this really delicate wreath, but I didn't mind for this particular design because it's going to get covered up with all of these leaves, so there's not going to be any exposed adhesive. Then I'm simply going to start tucking in all of these leaves that I have added distress ink to. So while I think I ended up only not using 3 leaves from all of these that I die cut. So that's 3 complete wreaths from the Stitched Leaf Wreath die, and I only didn't use 3. I made a really full wreath. You would not have to if you don't like that look as much. You could definitely do it a little bit more sparse, maybe add some ribbon to the bottom of the wreath or the top, wherever you like that. I think that would be pretty as well. Lots of different ways to do this. Consider transitioning a fall wreath even into a winter Christmas type of wreath just by switching up the embellishments you use. So this design could actually be used for lots and lots of different styles of cards. Here's where you can see a little bit of the brown from the Chisholm wreath sticking out, and I just ended up really liking how that looks. I'm going to continue working my way all around my wreath until it's nice and full. So super cute, very easy. Definitely you could be done as soon as you have all these leaves adhered. You can adhere it to your card base and completely be done if you wanted to be. I went ahead and took the Stickles glitter glue included in the kit and added little drops here and there. Gives some nice little sparkle, adds a nice little embellishment. Very simple and easy. You just want to make sure you set that aside to dry and give it plenty of time. I actually stuck my thumb in it and had to kind of wipe it off carefully. I hope you can't really see that in the finished card, and reapply one of my dots because I didn't wait long enough. But I love the little look that the Stickles glitter glue gives to the wreath. It just gives it a nice finishing touch. The last thing I'm going to do is go ahead and create a card base from some of the ivory cardstock included in the card kit. I'm going to create a top fold card base and adhere my card my panel right to that card base, and it's going to leave a nice little ivory stripe down each side. I'm just going to center that there. My pattern paper is slightly longer than my card base, so I am going to just snip that off of the bottom real quick and try to keep my fingers out of that glitter glue. I'm going to flip it over, just follow that, snip that off. And my fall themed thank you card is all finished. Thanks for joining me for this thank you fall wreath greeting card created with the Simon Says Stamp November 2016 card kit. The supplies I used to create this card are listed and linked below the video on YouTube. Here are a couple more fall themed cards that you might be interested in. Please subscribe for weekly card making and stamping videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.